And you know the sun's sitting fast, just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your love because your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun sitting down on our town, on our town? Good night. Now I sit on the porch, watch lightning bugs fly. I can't see too good, I got tears in my eyes. I'm leaving tomorrow, but I don't wanna go. I love you, my town, you'll always live in my soul. And you know the sun's sitting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your love because your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun sitting down on our town, on our town? Good night.
Good evening and welcome to this Week in Review. Tonight's stories include Coast Guard rescues the Francois Ferry, Teacher Staff Appreciation Week, Canadian Rangers presentation, the Grade 2-3 Valentine Walk. These stories plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack, and more coming up after this.
It took billions of years, but it was perfect. New life coming from the old, part of it hot, part of it frozen. A constantly moving blend of atmospheric elements kept the thermostat perfect to support the delicate balance. It has been called a miracle, and when you see how perfectly everything works together, you realize that it is. But today, the Earth is warming. If it continues, what quenched our thirst will flood the land. What filled our plates will turn to dust. Nature is not doing this. We are. Nature cannot stop it. We can, but we have to start now.
On Sunday, February the 8th, the Coast Guard boat was called out to rescue the Francois Ferry. At approximately 12:15 p.m., we received a telephone call telling us that the Coast Guard was called out for the Francois Ferry that was experiencing some sort of trouble. It would seem that the ferry, the Marine Voyager, was just outside of Boar Island when it began to experience some trouble. The Coast Guard boat was called out to help get the crippled ship to the wharf. Good fortune was with both crews of the ships because the weather was very favorable, sunny conditions and light winds. This made for a very smooth rescue. Once the Marine Voyager was safely docked, we spoke to Roy Lafosse, engineer on the ship. Mr. Lafosse told us that they had lost their steering. The steering arm had broken off. It would take a couple of days to fix the problem. A piece had to be ordered from Deer Lake in order to make the necessary repairs. The Sound of Olay will be providing the ferry service to the people of Francois while the Marine Voyager was out of commission. The week of February the 9th to the 13th was Teacher Staff Appreciation Week at Burgeo Academy. Communities in School Site Coordinator June Anderson was responsible for organizing things this year for the Teacher Staff Appreciation Week. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the help of parents and businesses around town. The theme for this year was Touching Minds, Shaping Futures. The teacher staff room was decorated for the week with balloons, streamers, and banners. The Respect team made a very special tree and decorated it with arts. On each art was the name of each teacher and staff member at Burgeo Academy, along with a positive comment about each person. The main hallway is also decorated with a collage of the teacher and staff. There were also arts and apples drawn or cut out by the students. On each apple or art is the student's comment about a teacher. For example, one student wrote about Mr. Melton Vatcher, "You create great skits," and another reads, "You make us laugh." The grade 6-7 students collected $1 from each student and presented it to their teacher, Mrs. Beverly Vatcher. The grade 2 class used different color construction paper to draw pictures or write poems for their teacher, Mrs. Tucker. With the help of one of their parents, it became a construction paper quilt. Each day during the Teacher Staff Appreciation Week, parents brought food trays for recess time. There were fruit trays, cake, cookies, cheese, crackers, and salami. Each day, parent volunteers also did teachers' recess duty. The Student Council also provided fruit and coffee for the staff room each day. There was also an ongoing scavenger hunt during the week. Staff members had to find 3 items per day. A prize will be given out at the end of the week to the first person who returned with all the items. To conclude the week, an assembly was held on Friday. The Student Council presented each staff member with a certificate. Also on Friday, the parents held a potluck lunch for all the staff members at the school. Thanks to the businesses around town, there was also a prize draw. We congratulate the parents, CIS coordinator, and businesses for making this Teacher Staff Appreciation Week a great one for the teachers and staff. The Canadian Rangers dropped by our studio on Tuesday of this week for an interview and a special presentation. We have with us in our studio today members of the Canadian Rangers. We have Sergeant Clayton Ingram, and we have Lieutenant Bud Green, and we have Master Corporal Norman Strickland. Welcome, you guys.
It's good to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about how the Canadian Rangers got started?
Yeah, the Rangers started, I guess, in 1942 in the Second World War. It started out in BC when the military won a presence of the military, I guess, out on the BC coast. So it started there in 1942, and I guess after the war, in 1945, it was dissolved, and in 1947 again, the government felt that they should have some more presence around the coastlines and the northern areas. So they started a group, and they called it the Reserve Corps, and this spread right across Canada from Newfoundland to BC and the Northwest Territories. And they started in 5 groups, and the groups itself was about 750 Rangers. And one of the groups that Burgeo is in is the Newfoundland and Labrador group, which is comprised of 30 groups. Burgeo being one, and at this point in time, we are the strength of 24 right now. So that's where we stand at this point in time.
Now, what is the role of the Canadian Rangers?
You want to get down, Lynn?
The role and task of the Canadian Rangers is to a military presence in sparsely populated areas where there is no military. They're a group of people that the military can contact if they need assistance in anything.
Okay.
And the Rangers are involved with the RCMP in Coastal Watch, which includes of anything from drugs, oil spills, if needed by the RCMP.
Okay.
They are the eyes and ears of the military in sparsely populated areas.
Okay. Now, what are some of the activities that the Canadian Rangers are involved in?
We on our exercise, we have 6 exercises that's carried out in the community here. And we do map and compass. We do GPS training, winter survival training, and we go through the regular conduct of knowing Outer Rangers form.
The history of the group.
The history,
Yeah.
basically, of the group.
Okay.
That's usually what the 6 exercises comprise of. Right?
Okay.
And we do small arms training as well. We do a few shoots and that sort of thing, and how to handle a rifle.
Okay.
And that's basically what the 6 exercises comprise of. Right?
Okay. Now, Norm, we understand that this past weekend you took part in exercise in Stephenville. Would you like to tell us about what went on and what you did?
It's just part of our role, Anne-Marie. We had an exercise this weekend with the Royal Newfoundland Regiment. They are our regular military. And what we done, we took part in a winter exercise. Well, we went out probably 4 kilometers on snowshoes. Really bad conditions this weekend, wet snow and windy. And we practiced pitching tents, survival tents. We pitched it 3 times so everybody could be familiar with the proper way of setting up an Arctic tent. And the 3rd time we set it up for the night, and we stayed there that night. But that evening we took part, the Rangers, we showed the Royal Newfoundland Regiment the proper way of building a lean-to. We built a lean-to. We built the fire pit and everything that goes with a lean-to. A lean-to is just a shelter you make out of natural materials if you're lost in the forest somewhere. We practice our skills setting fires out in the wilderness, and also out a snare, small game, different things like that. Basically, there were 47 of us involved. It was a real good exercise, despite the weather. The weather was a bit nasty. We had about 8 inches of soft snow that night, wet snow, and probably 60-mile wind or 60 kilometers wind from the east. So it wasn't that great. But overall, we had a real good exercise.
But with the weather conditions and nasty conditions you experienced, it would give you a really good opportunity to understand, if need be, those guys would be able to handle that.
By all means, we've been practicing over years, building lean-tos and standing them at night. In fact, a few years back, we camped up Stake Lake in lean-to and minus 28 degrees, and it wasn't very, very comfortable. But this time, we had all the proper material, equipment, sleeping bags and different things like this that was supplied to us by the Royal Newfoundland Regiment. So it was pretty comfortable. The only heat we had was the heat from a Coleman lantern.
Okay. Were you the only one that attended?
From Burgess? It was from Burgess.
Oh, 80 of you from Burgess. Oh,
Burgess.
wonderful, yeah. I understand that Clayton and Bud, you weren't allowed to go. Why was that?
It was a patrol exercise consisting of a master corporal, a corporal, and 6 rangers.
Okay,
That was their section.
okay,
Any sergeant or lieutenant or anything in that rank couldn't go.
okay.
I guess it was just to try the training that had been put onto the Rangers and prove that they succeeded in the skills that they got. Right?
So basically, they went to do a test, but they were testing your skills as teachers
That's
to
right.
see if you taught them right.
It seemed to be.
Would that be fair to say that?
Well, that's part of it, I guess.
Okay, okay.
You do things all over the year, you do it, and there comes a time, sometimes the Rangers are called out and we're not allowed to go. They got to survive on what they were taught.
Okay,
And we
okay.
just hope it works out, and
Yeah.
so far, I think it did on this exercise.
Wasn't it I can't remember, wasn't this weekend, was the last weekend or weekend before last? You guys had,
skills competition.
Range skills
yeah,
competition.
you had
Yeah.
area at the far out, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We compete against all the 30 other patrols was in Canadian Ranger Patrol Group number 5. And 3 years back, I think 4 years back, we did come out on top.
Okay.
And there's a lot of things that,
Is he involved in?
is involved with
Yeah.
whether you comes out or gets points or you loses points.
Okay.
Some of them was not what you know, but there's some of the things on attendance which we have no control over sometimes.
Okay,
different
yeah,
things like this.
yeah.
But this year we're going to be up there pretty well
Okay,
again, I think.
okay. So it's not only knowing your survival skills in weather like you had the past weekend, it's not knowing rifle ranges and bullets and whatever but it also includes attendance, like you said, you
That's
can't
right.
control. So it's a mixture of things.
everything what you've done for the year.
Okay. Have you got anything else planned in the upcoming days and weeks for the Canadian Rangers?
No, well, hopefully I'll be going to Gander sometime in March, and in March we go in there, all the SEAL patrol commanders go in to Gander, sit down, talk it out, argue it out, see what we can come up with for the next year.
Okay, so it's almost like an evaluation.
No, you go in, you got 30 patrols, you got to pick out your weekends, you can get your training.
Oh, okay.
Gander tells us what training they want us done, so we try to get what weekends, or we think we can get what weekends, we'll get the most attendance.
Okay.
Due to deficiencies now we have no control over, and a lot of the Rangers are fishermen, that's where your attendance goes down, and
Okay.
you got to go in and try to get it put together. It's 4 days in Gander
Okay.
putting it together.
So do you have any openings, like what's the maximum the Canadian Rangers can have in their unit?
Virgil, we're allowed 28. We got 24. We just lost a couple of Rangers in the past couple of months. So then again, come March when we go in, Captain George will tell us if we can take Rangers or not, and it all comes down from Ottawa.
Okay.
Ottawa controls everything.
All right, so if someone was interested, male or female, or just male?
No male or female.
Okay, was interested in the Canadian Rangers, they wanted more information, and in the event that a position came open, how would they get involved or get some information?
Well, they can pass the information of their interest to Bud or myself or to any ranger, and they can pass it along to us, and we can take their name. Or if when the time comes that we're recruiting new rangers, we will advertise it, and they can put in a resume to us, or whatever case of their interest, whatever, and we'll see where we go from there. If we get enough, then we will, or if we get more than we need, like we did in the past, we just put their names in a bag, and we got some independent guy that's not connected to the Rangers or whatever to draw names out of the bag. That sort
Okay.
of thing, right?
All right.
But to become a Ranger, first thing all you got to do is send away and get a letter of conduct, come
Okay.
back from the courts,
All right.
and if there's any charges or anything you've been involved with the law, you just won't get in. They
Okay.
turn you down.
Yeah. But if anybody just wanted some information, they could just contact you guys, and you
That's
guys
right.
would let them know.
Yeah.
We're gathered here today in case the viewers would like to know, is to do some very special presentations. So we'll just go right into our presentations. Clayton, did you want to tell us exactly what the presentations were?
Well, the presentations for 22 years of service,
Okay.
which they got the bar on their ribbon, and it was 22 years of training, and which brought them to recognition here of the government, I guess, or the military looking at you and saying, we appreciate your attendance for those 22 years.
Okay, so are they permitted to wear this on their uniform? Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll just take you that, and I believe you just when you present them, you name the Rangers anyway, don't you?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
First one you get is 4 years.
Okay.
Okay, and then is, that's just a service medal.
Okay.
4-year service. Then you get one for 12 years. That's a Canadian decoration. And after 22 years, you get a ribbon to go with your Canadian decoration. And I think it's 32 years you get other ribbon.
Every 10 years.
Every 10 years after. Okay. Well,
I just want to add that the Ranger group here is not only Virgil. I forgot to mention on the first, but it takes in Ramia, Grey Rivers, and Francois. So it takes
Okay.
in those communities as well,
so
which
they
makes
will
up
be
our
a part.
patrol.
Okay.
Part of Virgil.
Okay, so
Part
they
of
will
Virgil
be
patrol.
under. Oh, yeah, that's very
right.
interesting.
So it
Yeah.
takes part of the other coastline, right?
Oh, very good. So really, you've got a fine mixture.
It's
Of
a good
people.
mixture of people in different areas on this
Certainly.
coastline, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we thank you very much for coming in and speaking with us and allowing us to film your presentations. We appreciate it.
We thank you very much for having us. Okay, we're about here now to
Present Rangers with their 22-year bar.
Bar. So when I call the names, will you want to come forward and get your ribbon? Norm Strickland.
Turn around.
That's right. No?
Pass Mike.
Ranger Gordon Ayer.
Turn around.
Face the camera. Ranger Cyril Warren. There you go. Ranger Cyril Warren. Congratulations, Cyril. Ranger Calvin Ayer. Congratulations.
Okay.
And Arch Dunford. Congratulations, Arch.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. On Tuesday of this week, the grade 2 and 3 students went on their annual Valentine Walk. This Valentine Walk has become an annual part of the school program. Students in grade 2 and 3, along with their teachers Mrs. Tucker, Mrs. Vatcher, and Miss Crooker, took advantage of the milder weather on Tuesday and went for their walk. This is a part of the students' religious program. This part of the program teaches the students to share and care for others. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, students and teachers decided to make Valentines. The students walked from the school to the Southwest Seniors Complex and the Calder Health Care Center. The students gave out Valentines to seniors along the way. We followed the students to a couple of the homes.
There you go.
With all the smiles and warm greetings the students received from the seniors, the Valentines were greatly appreciated. Once the students arrived at the seniors' complex, they went in groups of 2 to deliver Valentines to each resident, and then it was on to the Calder Health Care Center. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
What if your family lived in a home on an island you couldn't leave? With limited amounts of food and safe drinking water. It would be very important to make things last, wouldn't it? Especially if your family kept growing and growing and growing. Well, It doesn't matter where your home is, because we all live on an island we can't leave. So please, use only what you need, because supplies truly are limited. We can do that.
We went to the site of the new hockey arena on Tuesday of this week. As you can see, all the steel siding has been put into place. Now you can see where the windows and doors are going to be. The Zamboni room is completed. While we were there, the crew were getting ready to line up the roof. Again, this massive crane helped make the job a little easier by lifting large pieces of steel onto the roof. Later in the week, we noticed that the roof was over half completed. Site manager Frank Compton wasn't around for us to talk to, so we will bring you more details in next week's broadcast. On Wednesday of this week, we were invited to the Linkages monthly session. These monthly sessions for the Linkages participants offer a wide variety of topics of discussion. On Wednesday, Mr. Paul Graham, Career Development Specialist with the Human Resources and Employment, talked to the 4 participants about careers. We might mention that the HRE is the funding agency for the Linkages program. Mr. Graham told the individuals that a career is not just a job, it's more than just a job. Under the career category, he listed life roles, work, provider, family, volunteer, student, and learner. He went on to explain how all of these are intertwined. Mr. Graham told them about his life experience and how he came to be in this career as a career development specialist. He talked about how he changed his career in his late 20s. He provided a relaxed atmosphere for all the participants. He stressed that you don't have to make a right decision about a career as long as it's a good decision. Career goals may change as you get older, and sometimes life roles plays an important part in a career decision. He gave the young people steps to follow in helping them make good career decisions. In the afternoon session, Adam Melbourne spoke to the group about how Linkages helped him in his career choice. Adam was involved in the Linkages program from October 2002 to April 2003. Adam's career of choice was becoming a paramedic. Linkages opened doors for Adam that he may not otherwise have had, had he not been involved in the Linkages program. Adam also said that the Linkages was a very worthwhile program. This Linkages program will finish up on March the 26th with a presentation of certificates to the participants. Mayor Ann, along with one member of each group of the guiding movement, dropped by our studio this week to sign a proclamation to begin the Guide Scout Week.
Good evening. It's Guide Scout Week. I invite you to join in this special celebration of international friendship with the 500,000 members of the Girl Guides of Canada, Guides to Canada, and Scouts Canada. Celebrate World Thinking Day and the achievements of Lord and Lady Baden-Powell. Celebrate the legacy of service of the guiding and scouting movements they founded. Guiding and scouting offer unique opportunities for young people to develop to their fullest potential. Canadians have thought of 2004 reasons to celebrate this year already. Whereas the mission of the Girl Guides of Canada, Guides to Canada, is to challenge the girls to reach their potential and empower them to give leadership and service as responsible citizens of the world. And whereas the mission of Scouts Canada is to contribute to the development of young people in achieving their full physical, intellectual, social, and spiritual potentials as individuals, as responsible citizens, and as members of their local, national, and international communities. And whereas the mission of both Girl Guides of Canada, Guides du Canada, and Scouts Canada are to be commended in that both organizations teach personal values, respect for the environment, and responsible citizenship and the principle of service. Be it resolved, therefore, that the town of Burgeo recognize the valuable contribution made to the well-being of our community by the Girl Guides of Canada, Guides to Canada, and Scouts Canada by proclaiming the week of February 15th to the 22nd Guide Scout Week.
Stay with us for the community events and the BBS playbill, all after this.
Good evening. Welcome to the community events segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm Rebecca Young. The winner of the Burgeo Lioness TV Bingo was Alice Remo. Congratulations, Alice. The LOBI will be having TV Bingo on Wednesday, February 18th at 7 p.m. One game for $300. Cards are $6 for $5 and are available from any LOBI member and are in most stores around town. Please support the LOBI, play TV Bingo, and you could win $300. The ICW will be having a card game on Wednesday, February 18th at 8 p.m. in the Parish Hall. They will be playing whist. It costs $5. This includes the lunch. Both men and women are welcome to attend. Upcoming events. March 5th, LOL Wakeathon. March 30th, ACW Wakeathon. April 10th, LOBI Children's Easter Party. May 8th, LOBI Mother's Day Celebration. Burgeo Academy will be having a bottle drive on Saturday, February 21st, starting at 10 a.m. All money collected will go towards student travel. Please support our students. Save your bottles. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. If your group or organization has an upcoming event planned, we will be happy to advertise it for you. Just call the BBS office by Wednesday of each week to have items included in this portion of our broadcast. That concludes the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. See you next week.
BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Try our luck on Wednesday by playing LOBA TV Bingo. Following the bingo, we will have a video entitled A Love That Kills, a video to bring awareness to violence issues. On Thursday, we will have another video from the ELP committee called A House Divided, Caregiver Stress and Elder Abuse. Join Pansy and the gang for 2 stories, a craft, and lots of fun on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless.